Hello and welcome to your news and features electronic magazine that centers on the different facets of motoring. Now in its 34th year, this is Motoring Today. On behalf of our dad, Butch Gamboa, I'm Ray Louie Gamboa.
And I'm Susie Gamboa. Here are this week's features to watch out for. On Motoring Forum, we shall discuss our experience on riding a bus using the EDSA busway. Our road safety reminder on the Yonge Street Smart portion centers on the proper way to cross a street after alighting from a vehicle. This week's Paying Chuper shall be about the impropriety of playing loud music in PUVs. The public service segment centers on the government's reaction to overspeeding city buses on the EDSA busway. Showcase this week shall have the hatchback from Honda, the Jazz RS 1.5 Navi CVT. While for race weekend, we'll have a feature on the Philippine Motorsports shift to esports.
All these plus the latest news in transportation and traffic management, as well as developments in the automotive and motorcycle industries, are in this week's edition of Motoring Today. Join us.
Be part of the 2020-2021 Autofocus People's Choice Awards, the only nationwide poll to determine the country's most popular car brands and models. It's easy. Log on, then vote for as many as 5 different models that you believe should become the 2020-2021 Autofocus Automobile of the Year in separate standard and premium luxury categories. Vote every day until September 30, 2020. The Autofocus People's Choice Awards. Who will win? You choose, you decide. Vote now.
What do we go for? We go for experience. We go for excitement. We go for sport. We go for style. We go for fun. We go for the new Toyota Wigo.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. Here now are the latest news and developments in transportation and traffic management. Metro Manila, along with other areas with rising COVID-19 cases, is back under modified enhanced community quarantine. What does this mean for transport? Authorities placed Metro Manila and nearby provinces back under Modified Enhanced Community Quarantine, or MECQ. Under guidelines issued by the Interagency Task Force for Management of Infectious Diseases, or IATF-EID, public transportation is generally not allowed while under MECQ. These include light rail transits, buses, jeepneys, taxis, Transport Network Vehicle Service Units, UV Express shuttles, and the like. Public shuttles are allowed to transport frontline workers or those who will return to work in industries, trades, or services allowed to operate under MECQ. Also allowed on the road under MECQ are personal vehicles owned by persons or workers in permitted industries, but only with 2 passengers per row. Company shuttles are allowed to operate but at half capacity. Rented shuttles, unlike before, do not need LTFRB permits. Now, a certificate, authorization letter, or letter of intent from the company stating the particular route to be traversed should be presented. Tricycles may be exempted from the ban on public transport, subject to guidelines of local government units and the Department of Interior and local government. Also allowed on the roads are bicycles, motorcycles, or e-scooters ridden by so-called APORs or authorized persons outside residence. Tandem riding on privately owned motorcycles is allowed, but only for those going to work in allowed sectors and subject to use of IATF-approved barrier or protective shield between riders.
We join many in praying that MECQ works to reduce the COVID-19 cases and then we can eventually transition to GCQ and then eventually to the new normal. Extending the deadline for renewal of car registrations can also be seen as extending validity of current registrations. But to motorists, it also means no penalties for late renewals.
The LTO has been extending the validity of vehicle registrations and deadlines for renewal since authorities ordered community lockdowns. Even after community quarantine restrictions were eased and LTO offices resumed operations, albeit in reduced capacities, the LTO continued to give vehicle owners more time to register their vehicles. The latest extension was ordered even as Metro Manila and neighboring provinces, south and north of the Metro, were brought back to modified enhanced community quarantine restrictions. In a public advisory, the LTO said that to avoid congestion at its offices and to ensure consistent observance of physical distancing protocols under community quarantine, the motor vehicle registration validity of motor vehicles with plate numbers ending in 6, 7, and 8 is hereby extended until September 30, 2020. If the vehicle still has no license plate numbers, the last number of the conduction sticker will be used as basis. The LTO added that no penalty and surcharge will be collected for vehicles covered by the new deadline. Earlier, the LTO said that the new deadline for renewal of vehicles with license plate numbers ending in 9 is October 30, 2020, and for those ending in 0, November 30, 2020.
The LTO is moving towards more online transactions and processes for such things as registration for new vehicles and applications for a driver's license. Very progressive of the LTO and very COVID-19 safe as well. The NLEX interchange was closed because it leads to a COVID-19 quarantine facility. It is now open but only for vehicles with RFID.
Back in the early days of communities being locked down under quarantine protocols, the NLEX management kept the Philippine Arena interchange open only to vehicles heading to and from the mega quarantine facility established within the Philippine Arena complex. Aside from the We Heal as One quarantine facility, the complex hosts a molecular laboratory as well as the mega swabbing center that is part of government effort to contain the spread of the COVID-19 virus. The NLEX management has decided to reopen the Philippine Arena interchange to all motorists already equipped with RFID accounts to allow for cashless transaction for paying toll. Those without RFIDs will have to have them installed at strategic stations set up for that purpose at the Philippine Arena interchange. NLEX management said that mandating motorists wishing to use the Philippine Arena interchange to sign up for RFID accounts is part of efforts to help motorists transition to cashless transactions. Cashless transactions at the NLEX take on more significance as the country struggles to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic. The reopening of the Philippine Arena interchange complements the recent opening of the Tambobong interchange, both vital to decongesting the Bocaue interchange and in easing mounting traffic along Governor F. Halili Road in Bocaue-Santa Maria corridor.
Toll operators have found another reason for motorists to use RFID. Not only does it help facilitate the payment of toll, it also helps prevent the spread of COVID-19. The COVID-19 pandemic has not stopped the DOTR from getting contracts signed for an airport express railway to Clark.
The DOTR has signed 2 contract packages with 2 separate groups for the construction of the PNR Clark Phase 2, or the Malolos to Clark segment of the North-South Commuter Railway, or NSCR project. The NSCR project aims to establish an express rail service connecting Makati in Metro Manila to the Clark International Airport in Pampanga. Due to constraints by the COVID-19 pandemic, the contract signings were held virtually. One was for contract package NO4 with Acciona Construction Philippines and EEI Corporation, which covers civil engineering and building works for approximately 6.3 kilometers of the main line and 1.6 kilometers of the depot's access line with an underground station servicing Clark International Airport. The second was for contract package NO5 with POSCO Engineering and Construction Company Limited, which covers civil engineering and building works for the Clark Railway Depot. Included in the package are the construction of the Operations Control Center, stabling yard, workshops, training center, and other ancillary buildings in a 33-hectare lot in Mabalacat, Pampanga. In his message during the virtual contract signing, Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade said, "Since the NSCR will feature the company's first airport express train service, allowing travelers to get from Makati to Clark Airport in under 1 hour, we can consider it as a trailblazing project."
Aside from the promise of a high-speed rail service connecting Makati to Clark, the project will also create employment opportunities for thousands. This is something that should help the economy recover from the dire effects of the pandemic. Those are the latest news in transportation and traffic management. Coming up next is Motoring Forum, brought to you by Suzuki Philippines. Transportation and traffic authorities gave media a taste of what it would feel like to ride a bus on the EDSA busway. This comes after videos of speeding buses hitting concrete barriers went viral on social media. Motoring Forum discusses the experience.
Imagine riding a bus from Monumento in Caloocan, passing EDSA to the Mall of Asia, and onto the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, all in 45 minutes to an hour. Going from the PITX back to Monumento via the same route through EDSA will also take roughly the same amount of time, even in the busiest hours on EDSA. It's possible, says Transport Authorities, when the EDSA busway is fully operational. Already, the DOTR, the MMDA, and the DPWH are working on what they call the transformation of EDSA. The EDSA busway is one of the major components of a transformed EDSA. Another are bike lanes and lanes for private motorists. Buses will have an exclusive lane all to themselves in the innermost lane of EDSA, going both directions. Loading and unloading bays will be established in strategic junctions, also in the innermost lanes. For these reasons, transport and traffic authorities believe traffic flow will improve and road safety enhanced. No buses taking over junctions on EDSA and turning them into terminals and backing up traffic. No buses dangerously racing each other for passengers. Even just traveling from 40 to 45 kilometers per hour with one lane all to themselves, 45 minutes to an hour to complete one half of the complete route should be feasible. Members of the media were given a preview of what it would be like when the EDSA busway is fully operational. According to busway proponents, if you line up, socially distant, get your temperature checked before boarding, pay using automatic fare collection systems such as beep cards on buses equipped for cashless payments or at booths set up for those not equipped. On board the bus, drivers or conductors ensure passengers are seated properly, again, socially or physically distant with the help of onboard cameras. Traveling on their exclusive lanes, buses don't need to speed beyond mandated limits. No overtaking. And while traffic on lanes for private motorists are congested, the busway is clear. Finally, at unloading bays, personnel help guide passengers to safety. When fully operational, the EDSA busway will have 550 buses continuously plying the route like a carousel. The DOTR, MMDA, and DPWH are now fast-tracking the installation of concrete barriers for delineating the EDSA busway and the needed railings and other facilities at loading and unloading bays. Plans call for 16 bus stops or loading and unloading bays for the EDSA busway. The DOTR believes that the EDSA busway will greatly complement the MRT3 operations, helping provide another efficient and safe mass transport option to commuters. It also believes giving buses an exclusive lane will be a great help at easing congestion on EDSA, and that the benefits of the EDSA busway will be felt not only in the transition to, but also when the metro returns to normal, whenever that normal may be.
The metro is back to MECQ, at least for a couple of weeks. Many hope that this doesn't stop authorities from completing all facilities needed for the safe operation of the EDSA busway when buses and other forms of public transport are allowed to resume operations. That's Motoring Forum this week, brought to you by Suzuki Philippines.
What do we go for? We go for experience. We go for excitement. We go for sport. We go for style. We go for fun. We go for the new Toyota Wigo.
You are back with us here on Motoring Today. In line with our lifelong commitment to promote road safety, here is this week's road safety tip in cooperation with Toyota Motor Philippines.
When alighting a vehicle, do not cross the street right away dahil baka masagasaan ka ng paparating na sasakyan. Mas safe kung pupunta ka muna sa gilid ng kalsada, look left at right, at saka tumawid kung safe na.
Continuing with this week's edition of Motoring Today, let's now focus on proper driver's demeanor, especially for those driving PUVs. From Mitsubishi Motors Philippines, here is Bayang Chuper this week.
Payong chopper lang kaibigan, ako si Daniel Villegas, isang kapwa new chopper. Iwasan po natin ang pagpatugtog ng sobrang lakas ng musika sa ating sakyan, lalo na habang ito'y tumatakbo sa daan.
Dapat nating malaman na ang pagpapatugtog ng loud music sa loob ng sasakyan, pampasahero man ito o pribado, ay di lamang nakakapwerhisyo. Ito rin ay delikado. Kapag tayo ay nagpapatugtog ng malakas, ito ay nagdudulot ng ingay at nakakaabala rin sa ibang tao. Ang atensyon natin ay nababaling sa musika at hindi sa pagmamaneho natin. At kung tayo ay distracted, hindi tayo alerto sa mga nangyayari sa ating kapaligiran. Kapag ito ang nangyari, di lamang ikaw ang madidisgrasya, pati na rin ang ibang motorista.
Kaya palaging tandaan, habang tayo ay nagmamaneho, lagi tayong alisto sa ating paligid. Ito po si Daniel Villegas, Payong Chopper lang kaibigan, mula sa isang kapwa new chopper.
What do we go for? We go for experience. We go for excitement. We go for sport. We go for style. We go for fun. We go for the new Toyota Wigo.
Be part of the 2020-2021 Autofocus People's Choice Awards, the only nationwide poll to determine the country's most popular car brands and models. It's easy. Log on, then vote for as many as 5 different models that you believe should become the 2020-2021 Autofocus Automobile of the Year in separate standard and premium luxury categories. Vote every day until September 30, 2020. The Autofocus People's Choice Awards. Who will win? You choose, you decide. Vote now.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. World of Motorsports is next. we start with the latest news and developments. The first round of the GR Supra GT Cup Asia Philippines has gotten off to a rousing start, with more than 100 entries signing up to compete for the chance to represent the Philippines in the Toyota's regional e-racing series. After the excitement of the leaderboard challenge that determined the 24 qualifiers for both the promotional and sporting classes, as well as 10 for the junior class, came even more thrilling semifinal heats that determined who joined the final race of round 1. It was a tight final for e-racers competing using the GR Supra on the PlayStation Gran Turismo Sport, with Luis Moreno emerging on top of the virtual podium, Mark Voltaire Elman in second, and Corban Guerrero third. Gab Senieres was first in the promotional class, with Lance Padilla in second, and Lance Gubala third. In the junior class for 17-year-olds and under, Russell Cabrera beat Inigo Anton for the top spot. Sebastian Soto finished third. Registration for round 2 has already begun, with a qualifying leaderboard challenge scheduled for August 20. More in the world of motorsports here on Motoring Today, as we now give you Race Weekend. The COVID-19 pandemic shut down the 2020 local motorsports season just as it was about to begin. More than halfway through the year, it appears that no local race on the track, or on dirt for that matter, will be held. Still, the urge to race is there, but there is e-racing. 2020 may be remembered as the lost season for local motorsport. After a truly active 2019 season for grassroots and intermediate racing, local motorsports was gearing up for another busy and exciting year. But then, global COVID-19 pandemic struck. Communities were locked down, the economy was paralyzed, all forms of sport and leisure activities where social or physical distancing can be enforced were suspended, including motorsports. Still, racing enthusiasts cannot deny their need for speed, the thrill of the race, the joy of competition, as participant or spectator. Like many other things in the time of COVID-19, people turned to the digital world, online working, online shopping, online entertainment, online sports, even motorsports. Among the first to shift to e-motorsports was Tuason Racing, the country's premier professional racing school and organizer of such racing series and events as the Formula V1 Challenge and the Toyota Vios Racing Festival. This was first announced during their 21st anniversary celebration. Early in the lockdown, Tuason Racing partnered with Phoenix Petroleum to hold a series of virtual races that aim to provide e-racers and other racing enthusiasts a venue to continue enjoying motorsports competitions while helping out frontliners in the fight against COVID-19. The series was called Race for Frontliners, encouraging participants to donate funds and food packs for frontliners. The e-racing series is also part of the Phoenix Pulse Young Drivers Program, a search for aspiring drivers in the sim racing platform to compete in the international esports arenas like the FIA Games. Over 4 rounds, the Race for Frontliners drew scores of participants competing in virtual time trials and races on Gran Turismo Sport using the PlayStation 4 platform. The top finishers in the 4 rounds qualified for the semifinal and championship rounds held on June 15. In an exciting final championship race watched on Facebook Live by motorsports enthusiasts or Zoom parties or conferences, Inigo Anton emerged as champion, with Russell Cabrera in second and Corban Guerrero in third. The series also raised over 400,000 pesos for frontliners. Also shifting to e-racing is the Philippine Rallycross Series. With COVID-19 pandemic putting a stop to preparations for a big year of rallycross competition, organizers decided to keep the fires burning for racing on dirt with online races. Philippine Rallycross organizers partnered with Dominado E-Motorsports Rally to host the Philippine E-Rally Series. Participants competed online on Dirt Rally 2.0 on both PlayStation 4 and PC platforms. The series generated a lot of interest among rallycross regulars and other motorsports enthusiasts. And another major e-motorsports series just got off to a great start. Tiolo Motor Philippines has tapped who else? Tuason Racing to help it run the 2020 GR Supra GT Asia Cup Philippines. The COVID-19 pandemic forced Toyota to cancel the 2020 Vios Racing Festival. To continue propagating the Wakudoki spirit among local motorsports enthusiasts, Toyota decided on replacing the festival with e-racing competition that will determine who will represent the Philippines in the GR Supra GT Cup Asia to be held later this year. The first of 3 rounds drew over 100 entries, from professional or experienced e-racers competing in the sporting class, to e-race enthusiasts and beginners in the promotional class. The series also drew a number of local motorsport stars trying their hand at racing in the digital world. Facebook, YouTube, and Zoom are now venues for watching motorsports, at least the digital kind. F1 and MotoGP have managed to hold real races this year, albeit with stands empty of fans. Local motorsports can't afford the kind of testing and other necessities needed to keep racers in a bubble safe from COVID-19. So local motorsports enthusiasts will have to make do with digital races. E-racing should help local motorsports keep interest in racing from flagging, at least until the time when authorities allow racing on real racetracks and dirt tracks to resume. Meanwhile, it's also part e-racing too. And that's this week's World of Motorsports. Motoring Today continues right after this break.
What do we go for? We go for experience. We go for excitement. We go for sport. We go for style. We go for fun. We go for the new Toyota WeGo.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. Let's now take a look at what's happening in the local auto and moto industries.
The venerable Mitsubishi L300 just refuses to fade away. The L300 van continues to remain relevant for Mitsubishi Motors Philippines Corporation, or MMPC, which just celebrated another milestone with the workhorse. Mitsubishi rolled out the 200,000 L300 at its assembly plant in Santa Rosa, Laguna. Over the years, Mitsubishi has sold more than 190,000 L300 vans, building a solid reputation as a dependable cargo or passenger mover with an efficient and durable engine, all at an affordable price. The L300 best reflects Mitsubishi's resilience. This achievement is a reflection of the resiliency of MMPC. Despite the current challenges that we are facing due to COVID-19 pandemic, we are all still geared to provide the market with quality vehicles and support Filipino livelihood through serving transportation and business needs, said Mutsuhiro Oshikiri, MMPC President and CEO. Mitsubishi plans to ride its workhorse and set more milestones. In the works is a plan to export L300 units to neighboring Southeast Asian countries. We are committed to further grow and expand the business of Mitsubishi Motors in the Philippines. We are in the process of finalizing our plans to export L300 to other ASEAN countries, which makes us the only automotive manufacturer in the Philippines to export vehicles, said Takao Kato, Mitsubishi Motors Corporation Chief Executive Officer. The new Lexus NX is now available locally. The compact crossover from Lexus comes to Manila in 3 variants: the NX300, the NX300H, and the NX300F Sport. The Lexus NX shares design cues with the Lexus LC Grand Tourer, notably in the triple projector headlamps. Also making the NX distinctly a Lexus are the L-shaped daytime running lights, the satin and smoke chrome trim adorning the trim. The new NX now sports a lower rear bumper and a broader stance, elongated taillights, plus a black garnish emphasizing the L-shaped lenses. The NX300 and the NX300F Sport are powered by a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder 16-valve DOHC turbo gasoline-powered engine, generating 235 horsepower and 350 Nm of torque with Euro 6 rating. The NX300H is powered by a 2.5-liter inline 4-cylinder 16-valve DOHC gasoline engine combined with a pair of synchronous motors in the front and the rear. Total system out is 194 horsepower. Prices are 3,208,000 pesos for the NX300, 3,678,000 pesos for the NX300H, and 3,708,000 pesos for the NX300F Sport. Vespa reached back to the 60s for inspiration in rolling out the new Racing 60s series of the Vespa GTS Super and the Vespa Sprint. The livery, colors, and style adopted for the Racing 60s series conjure up memories of legendary circuits such as Monaco or Monza, or the historic championships like the Targa Florio of the 60s motorsports scene. Yellow and red graphics stand out on green and white chassis. Also evoking the 60s, our brand new seat design of velvety nubuck with artisan-style stitching, golden wheel rims, and matte black details. Vespa also has come out with a new range of riding wear and helmets to complement the Racing 60s editions of the Vespa GTS Super and the Vespa Sprint.
Motoring Today now brings you our Car of the Week on Showcase, courtesy of Prudential Guarantee. The Jazz has been one of Honda's better-selling vehicles for its sporty hatchback styling, powerful and efficient powertrain, as well as its practical and utilitarian capabilities for a subcompact. Now that many young professionals and frontliners are looking for practical yet affordable vehicles for safe personal transport in the new normal, the Jazz is a good sporty option. Showcase takes a look at the top-end variant of Honda's subcompact hatchback, the Jazz RS 1.5 Navi CVT.
Since its introduction back in 2001, the Honda Jazz has always been perceived as a sporty yet practical hatchback. A hot subcompact hatch with a roomy interior, more than generous luggage or cargo space, and rev-happy engine and nifty handling. The latest generation Jazz manifests the sporty reputation with sleek character lines and grooves. This is especially emphasized in the Honda Jazz RS 1.5 Navi CVT, which gets the full RS or road sailing concept treatment. From the RS design, front grille and front bumper lower grille, the front and rear bumper, to the tailgate spoiler. The RS treatment added a few millimeters to the overall length of the Jazz RS, which now sports the following dimensions: 4,035 millimeters long, 1,694 millimeters wide, and 1,524 high, with a wheelbase of 2,530 millimeters. Aside from the RS treatment, the Jazz RS boasts LED headlights and guide-type daytime running lights from fog lamps, turn signal lights on the black power folding side mirrors, LED tail lamps, and high mount stoplight, chrome trunk garnish, a rear micro-type antenna, a side sill garnish, and body color door handles. Also differentiating the RS Navi from other Jazz variants are the 16-inch gloss black aluminum alloy wheels, wrapped by 185 by 55 R16 tires. Powering the Jazz is a 1,497cc single overhead cam 16-valve 4-cylinder engine with chain drive and programmed fuel injection and Honda's iVTEC technology. This Euro 4 engine generates a maximum 120 PS at 6,600 revolutions per minute and 145 Nm of torque at 4,800 RPM. Power is transmitted to the front wheels via Honda's Earth Dreams technology continuously variable transmission. Stopping power comes from a brake system using front ventilated discs and rear drums. The Jazz suspension system features independent McPherson struts with stabilizers in front and H-shaped torsion beam with stabilizer in the rear. A smart keyless entry system makes getting into the Jazz RS a breeze. This also comes with push-button start. Inside, one finds a roomy cabin with well-cushioned seats upholstered in sporty black fabric with orange stitching, as well as a black console panel with soft pad. 5 full-size adults will find it comfortable inside the Jazz. The front seats have adjustable headrests and slide and recline, with the driver getting added benefit of adjustments for height. The rear seat features what Honda calls ULTR Tech for utility, long, tall, and relaxed mode, and also comes with adjustable headrests. The rear seats can be folded and configured to accommodate odd-sized cargo of various lengths and width. Driver can adjust seat, and 3-spoke leather-wrapped and orange-stitched steering wheel, which tilts and telescopes for his preferred driving position. For comfort and convenience are controls for audio, Bluetooth hands-free phone on the steering wheel, as well as paddle shifters. Other comfort and convenience features include power windows and power door locks, front and rear windshield defogger, 7 bottle holders, sun visors with vanity mirror, map and dome light, a 12-volt accessory socket, automatic air conditioning with touch panel controls, and a center console with armrest. The audio system comes with a 7-inch touchscreen with Bluetooth, USB and HDMI connectivity, navigation, and 6 speakers, including 2 tweeters. Honda filled the Jazz RS with passive and active safety features. All 5 occupants in the car get 3-point ELR seatbelts. There are dual airbags for driver and front seat passengers, as well as side airbags and side curtain bags, and door beams. Child safety is not forgotten, as the Jazz comes standard with child safety lock and ISOFIX child seat anchors. Honda also lists anti-lock brakes, electronic brake force distribution, vehicle stability assist, hill start assist among Jazz RS's safety features. Making parking the Jazz a breeze is a multi-view reverse camera. An alarm system with immobilizer complements the smart entry system.
The Honda Jazz should help the auto industry recover from the slowdown in sales brought about by the lockdown and the pandemic's effect on the economy. That's our featured vehicle on this week's showcase, courtesy of Prudential Guarantee.
Drive worry-free with Prudential Guarantee's auto insurance program with a free 24-hour nationwide roadside assistance included with your comprehensive auto insurance. Rest assured, we'll take care of you and your car wherever you are. Prudential Guarantee's auto insurance program, 100% worry-free driving.
Be part of the 2020-2021 Autofocus People's Choice Awards, the only nationwide poll to determine the country's most popular car brands and models. It's easy. Log on, then vote for as many as 5 different models that you believe should become the 2020-2021 Autofocus Automobile of the Year in separate standard and premium luxury categories. Vote every day until September 30, 2020. The Autofocus People's Choice Awards. Who will win? You choose, you decide. Vote now.
We now have our segment that dwells on the wide array of motoring problems not only in the metro but all over the country as well. This is where we present problems that were referred to us or we ourselves see and hope to fully find solutions for. Here's our public service segment brought to you by Honda Cars Philippines.
Before Metro Manila and other parts of Luzon were reverted to modified enhanced community quarantine status, one of Transport Authority's projects, the EDSA busway, was on the spotlight. As reported, this is because city buses under the EDSA carousel route were seen overspeeding on the busway, which led to hitting barriers that separate the lane from the rest. Some were thinking if the lane is too narrow or if there's a speed limit implemented for the buses. On the issue of the former, transport authorities have earlier said that the international standard width for a bus lane is 3.2 to 3.5 meters and that the EDSA busway meets this. A week before public transportation was once again prohibited, we were part of the motoring media team who tried and experienced riding a bus using the new lane. We also got a chance to talk to Mr. Robbie Torres, president of Mega Manila Consortium, and asked him of the netizens' opinions. Contrary to what some think, there is actually a set speed limit on the busway.
Nakaset po yung speed limit natin ngayon sa 50, pero po dito sa mga overtaking lanes, i-assess natin yung risk if we need to bring it down lower dun sa mga overtaking lanes. Pero meron kaming self-governing na campaign internally, lilimit lang po natin sa 50 kilometers per hour.
He also stressed that risk can be managed.
Nakikita namin na pwede naman i-manage yung risk sa pagtitrain dun sa mga drivers, sa pag-identify ng mga high-risk na areas. Madadala naman yan sa pag-iingat ng driver.
Here's hoping that motorists, both of private and public vehicles, would be reminded of our shared responsibility on the road, ensuring not just ours but everyone's safety. Similarly, may we all be disciplined enough to follow traffic rules and regulations.
And that's our public service segment from Honda Cars Philippines. And should you yourself encounter motoring problems that need immediate attention, please feel free to contact us. See the details on your screen. And that's the week that was in motoring. Thank you for joining us. Also, please don't forget to check us out on our social media accounts.
Until next week here on Motoring Today, now on its 34th year of continuing service to the general motoring public with a lifelong commitment to promote road safety. Stay healthy and be vigilant at all times. On behalf of Butch Gamboa, our dad, I'm Ray Louie Gamboa.
And I'm Susie Gamboa.
Happy motoring!